guys, and welcome to this week's video. This week I'm going to be doing a studio tour. I've been living here for about 3 to 4 months now, I think, so I think it's about time that I show you my studio and what it looks like. I have changed quite a few things since I've moved in, and I guess I've shown that in my studio vlogs, so if you want to see what I've done to my studio, how I've set it up, my moving vlog, everything, go and check them out. They're all on my channel, and I also go into more detail about why we've moved. I'm currently living with my parents just temporarily while me and Ryan figure out where we're going to be moving next. But basically we kind of had to move because we had a nightmare neighbour, but go and check out the video as I go into a lot more detail there, and I'm not going to talk about that here. So this room is just a spare room in my parents' house, and we ended up turning this room into the studio. But as you can see, I've got a cupboard here which is full of stuff, and there's another one in front of me too. So even though this room is bigger than my last studio, I have lost some space due to these cupboards. But I think I kind of prefer the layout of this one, which is surprising as I bought all this furniture to fit perfectly in the other studio, but I've got a little bit more room in here. The layout just works a little bit better. Like before in my old studio, I only had a small space to get into the room. Like the door was blocked by my desks. But here, you know, there's a lot more floor space. It's a bit more open, and the light is really good in here, which is good because I really did like that big window I had in my last studio. But I have a window here and a window there, so there's lots of light coming in here. So there is some furniture in here that was meant to be in other rooms. We downsized from living in a 2-bedroom house to moving to my parents' house when they already have a house full of stuff, and I was then bringing a house full of stuff. There is some bits and pieces in here that should usually belong in other rooms of the house. I've got some of my bedroom furniture in here. You'll see that it has in some way worked out to be better for me as it's made more storage, but in my next studio that obviously won't stay the same because I'll have furniture in other places. So let's get started with the studio tour. So when you first walk into my room, you see my big Kallax. This was laid down on its side in my previous studios and in my flat, but you know, we had to fit it up this way to fit in all the furniture I've got. So I've just got some little bits and pieces up here. I have lots of bits and bobs in here because I had stuff in my bedroom, my studio, and then the living room as well, and I've had to put all my ornaments and everything in this one room. So I've done a good job of squishing everything in, I think. I do have a lot of stuff. Then in these first 2 boxes, I think these are just Christmas decorations in here. They were originally under my bed, but now they are having to take up space in this. I've got my fancy dress box, which used to be in my wardrobe. Then I've got my books. I think originally I had these all on 2 shelves, but I managed to fit them all on 1 shelf. And then we've got my records, this little picture that Ryan got me for Valentine's Day, as well as some more little Nebo figures there. Then this one is just my kind of stock box. So this has things I've already printed. Most of the stuff in here was stuff that I was going to take to my last market, which was cancelled because of COVID literally 2 days before I was meant to go, so I'd already printed everything, so that stuff just went in here. I do usually print to order, but you know, I have to print things ready for markets, so this is already printed stuff that I sell, things that I've used to take photos of and stuff like that. So that's just all kept in there. Then more Christmas decorations in here. I'm hoping one day in the future I will never have to have my Christmas decorations in a studio and taking up storage space. This box is just kind of like my junk drawer. It's just got lots of bits and pieces, spare extension leads that I don't need for this room, bits for the Skirless pegboard, prints that have gone wrong, packaging, lots of other bits and pieces, nothing really in particular. And then this, that's stuff for my new printer, but this is just like electronic bits. So I've got cameras, wires, cameras, all sorts of bits and pieces, but there's nothing really that I use every day in there. So it just lives in there for now. Next we're moving on to my little shelves. So these have just got lots of bits and pieces on, all my ornaments and soft toys and bits. but I've got some spare pens up there as well. And down here are my Copic markers. I don't really use them that much anymore, but you know, I've still got them. I've got quite a big collection of them because I used to use them all the time, and they just live here. And in these little jars I have some Posca markers. Back here are some brush pens and small Posca markers. Got my sunglasses just because it's easier just to keep them downstairs. And here are some of my new products which I'm going to take photos of later this week and get up on my store. This is another Kallax which has all my jumpers in, so this would usually be kept in my bedroom but is kept down here for the moment. And then I've got my little trolley. I know a lot of artists use this to keep art supplies and stuff on, but I use it to just keep bits and pieces in. So I've got like spare stationery in here. Then in here there's just lots of documents and things. My Mac with my printer inks that I haven't found a space for yet, so they just live up there for now. Alright, so now we're on to my Ikea pegboard. So my pegboard is something that I was really excited about when I got it, and I still love it, and it's such a useful thing, and I definitely think it encourages me to make more art than not having it, because it's so easy to tidy away all my art supplies as it's all just there, and you can see everything I've got. Yeah, this is the Ikea Skirless pegboard. I've got 4 of them. Because this room has lower ceilings, you might be able to tell, but the rest of the pegboard is below the table. There's not a huge amount of space lost, but I've lost a little bit. We had to improvise and stick it up on the cupboards, so it's currently hanging from the top of the cupboards, but it works really well, and it means I can have it as this is something that I really like having in my studio. I've got lots of pieces of art I've made, stuff from other people as well. I've got more Posca markers here, as well as this little Yeti painting. I also have these. They don't look like much at the moment because they've sort of fallen apart, but these are the stencils I made for my clay pins that I made a while back. I just keep hold of them there. They're not like in perfect condition, but they do the job at cutting the clay in the shape I want and keep it consistent. I've just got some Polaroids. This is a business card. As you can see, it changes. It's really cool. I made these for my degree show when I was still at uni. A whole bunch of washi tape, scissors, a knife. Got some Posy the Hedgehog sketches. I use this little pot to keep pencil shavings in. Got bits and pieces here. I've got my colour wheel clock, which doesn't really work. I did make it myself from an Ikea clock, and it did work at one point, but the batteries have long died. Yeah, it doesn't work, but I do like looking at it because it's nice having the colours up there and I can see the colour wheel and everything, so that makes it, you know, useful for me for when I'm making art. I can just choose which colour I want using this, and it's a good thing to have, even though it does seem like a bit of a silly thing to say, but I do use it a lot, just not for its intended purpose. Got some little fairy lights up, and then my coloured pencils. So these are my Primsa coloured ones, and these are just like other coloured pencils. Fine liners in here. These ones are all microns. Then a whole selection of paintbrushes. So many of my paintbrushes are kind of ruined and torn up because painting on denim really does damage your paintbrushes. Then my sketchbook, my current one anyway. I do need to get some stickers for this. Maybe I should make myself some. And then I've got my palette there, which is very dirty at the moment, but it's kind of stained with gouache. I've got some new paintbrushes in here, so I do have some spare ones. I just haven't used them yet. The rest of this is pretty much empty. There's nothing else in it, so yeah, pretty boring. Kitchen roll, ink, watercolors, and then in here I've got other bits and pieces that I need, so like chalk to use for drawing on denim jackets, some like sewing scissors, and then my mini pliers as well. And then here we've got my gouache. So this desk is one of the Ikea desks that can go up and down. You can buy the tabletop separately to the legs, but I decided to go for these legs so I can adjust the height of it. So I could make it lower to show more of the pegboard, but I've just kept it like this because this is what it was like in my previous studio. At the bottom they've got these little shelves. I've got some paints and stuff that doesn't really fit anywhere else. There's like spray paints, glues, varnishing stuff, some rubbing alcohol, nothing in particular. It's just like random painting supplies, and I've got one of my speakers down there too. Then around here, this is my big box of paints. So on top I have the new Chalkola watercolour paints that I was sent last week or the week before. Then in here I've got a whole mixture of acrylic paints, and this is what I use to paint on with my denim jackets. I don't use any brand in particular. I've got my tear off palette, which is so useful and makes cleaning up so much easier. And then I've also got my Chalkola box of acrylic paint there as well, which I also use for painting on denim jackets. This little chair I bought for £15 off Amazon. I think at some point I'm probably gonna upgrade it, but it does the job for now. I needed something that was easy for me to get, and this was the only option available at the time. I bought this when I was in my last studio to use on this table, and yeah, it's not great, but it's fine for the moment, but I am looking to get a new one. So down here I have some packing boxes. I do pack my boxes on my other table, but I do keep them down here just because I don't really have any space for them. You will see what I mean in a minute. Everything's kind of full, but they just live here because they're too big to go anywhere else. Then I've just got little bits and pieces along here. I've got my subscribe button that I got from VidCon, and then some other bits and pieces which I've just put here. My alarm clock from my bedroom, my fake cactuses from the living room, so everything's kind of all over the place. So in future these drawers are something I want to change because they do the job well, but I think I would rather have something a little bit more stable, and with more storage. The drawers are a bit like you lose a bit of space because they're sloped inside them, so I think I could get something a little bit better, but for now they do the job. In here there's nothing particularly interesting. This is just bits and pieces that I use for when I'm going to markets, and as you can see at the moment the drawers are kind of like half full, so there's not really much in them. But this has basically got everything I take with me for my table decorations for markets. And then I've got my other speaker here. I would prefer to have them next to each other, but for now they just live, one over there and that one here. But they are in good position to work with my record player, which lives up here. This cupboard is my old bedside table. It was always empty anyway, even in my bedroom, it never had much in it, but it's just got some extra bits and pieces, phone boxes, a game, and then a bunch of photos and some more Christmas decorations. And here are my little illustrations that I've stuck on this wardrobe to kind of try and disguise it a little bit. It's George the Giraffe who hangs up here, but right there. I have got more display stuff for markets up here as well, like that's my grid. And you can see there that that's my capsule machine. I've just put that up there because I'm probably not going to use it while I'm living here, so it's just out of the way. I've also got some old sketchbooks and stuff up here along with my bubble wrap. Now we're on to my wardrobe, which would usually stay in my bedroom, but I've decided that it would be better to use this to keep my denim jackets in because it gives me more storage, and I've already got, well, okay, I need to reorganize this, but I've got wardrobes already up in my bedroom, so I didn't need another wardrobe. So keeping the wardrobe up was just a good way to keep my denim jackets all stored. Usually I just keep them on my rail, but I think having a wardrobe just keeps them so much more tidier, and it gives me extra storage here, so I might even end up buying another wardrobe in the next studio so I have more space. But yeah, so denim jackets. Then here we've just got more bits and pieces. There's some like wool and stuff, and that's another display thing. And then I've got all my t-shirts, my tote bags, and then my white t-shirts. So, you know, you've got my rail hanging around in the back there, some stuffing. In here, some pillow for my cushions. My sublimation socks also lived up there until like they decided to not live there, but that's where they stay. So as I had to shove so much stuff in this room, I have really filled every single nook and cranny as much as I can. So as you can see, I've got a lot of stuff under my table as well, which I wouldn't have otherwise there. Like in my previous studio, I didn't have the stuff under my desk, and I'd rather not have it because it gives me less foot room under the desk. But it has to stay there for now because I've got nowhere else to put it. But this is my postcard display I use for markets. And I've just got a laptop bag which has my tablet in, my Wacom tablet. This is my photography studio, and I believe in here there's just some spare canvases and stuff. So this is one of my other desks. This is where I do most of my work, my editing, my photo editing, social media stuff. It's all done on this desk. I've got my iMac here. I've recently bought this little iMac stand for it, which I find really useful because it keeps all my hard drives, which are kept in there, all tidy, and it doesn't make any mess. I also keep my DS and my Amiibo reader down there too. And I've got a little dish up here which holds my memory cards. And then you can see here, that's my microphone and my soundproof thingy. I've got this little guy on my desk. He is just a little desk bin. My scale, sellotape, and I've got a little pen pot and a pencil case, as well as this really cool light is my normal printer. So this is what I use to like print off orders, other bits and pieces that aren't really that exciting. So these drawers down here are my Alex drawers. They are on wheels, so you're supposedly able to pull them around and move them around, but because the carpet is so thick in here, they are pretty much stuck where they are. But I did have these in my last studio as well, and I've kept everything in there pretty much the same. So I'm just gonna quickly go over everything because nothing has really changed in here at all, which makes it easier for me to find where everything is. My top drawer is filled with all my packing supplies. So I've got my little bags, some washi tape, little bits and pieces for packing, my free stickers, and my thank you cards, which are a little bit unorganized right now. I've just got a little pencil case, some rubbish, so just bits and pieces that just aren't really that important. And then down here I've got some little tripods as well. This drawer is just filled with cellophane bags for my prints and stuff, and some packaging bags as well. Here, this is a whole mixture of stuff really. So in here there are some spare prints, some stickers, and then like card and stuff that I use for taking my photography for my product photos. The prints I have in here are the same as other prints I've got, but these are ones that I haven't put in packaging. So I now sell my bigger prints, my A3 prints, with backing cards. These ones are just ones that haven't got backing cards on them yet, so they're just kept in there safe for when I do need them. But I have a lot of prints scattered out throughout this room. They're in there just because they fit and I have nowhere else to put them. And here are sketchbooks. There's a whole bunch of different sketchbooks, some new, some old, some ones that are half filled, some that aren't, some that are finished, just kind of everything. And I've got my packaging tape there too. This drawer has finished work in it, so it's got canvases I've already painted on, bits of pieces like loose paper and stuff, lots of just finished artwork basically. And then here I've got my unfinished artwork, so canvases that I haven't yet painted on, or you know, I'm going to paint over or something like that. So this bit down here is very different how it used to be in my other studio. So this bookcase was in my bedroom upstairs, but I ended up moving it down here because I need to make more room for my double bed. So I've got my amiibos here, some plastic keyrings, needle felting stuff. Then I've got my backing cards for my prints. Then up here I've got some prints that I used for photography, so cards and things that I needed to take photos of, so they're ready printed so people can order, and those ones will be shipped out immediately. And I've also got envelopes and card there too. Then here I've got a whole bunch of different papers. So this is like my sublimation mug paper or phone case paper, magnetic paper, normal printer paper, sticker paper, every kind of paper, it's here. Then these are just some empty mug boxes. These I still need to package and put away. They're my magnetic bookmarks I made in my video last week. I've got some spare sellotape, note cards, and then my print paper and some more packaging stuff. So just some envelopes, and there's more envelopes down here as well. So this box has my little smaller packaging boxes in them. That's here because I use it for pretty much all of my orders, and I just need it as close as possible so I can just grab them. Then in here, it's kind of a whole mixture of stuff. So starting from the big bottom, I've got some more markers, gouache that I don't really use anymore, some more art supplies and bits of stuff that I don't really use that regularly. This whole box is full of art supplies. Then I've got some Fimo, this box of just random bits. There's nothing really in particular here. And down here I've got my blank mugs. These are my ceramic mugs, which I print on, but I've put them here because I don't really have any other mug designs other than my Christmas mugs, so at the moment I have no use for them. And I've got some more needle felting stuff there for my little cactus bears. Then up top, this box here has some enamel pins in, just because I don't need all of them to be easy access, so it's a good way to store them. My iron for denim jackets, more needle felting stuff. Then here we've got my greaseproof paper, and then this box is just filled with random art supplies and kits and things that I have yet to complete and I do off camera. And then this box down here has my Fimo bits and pieces in. And up here you've got foam charms, more Fimo bits, sublimation, sprays, stuff, sticky stuff. My mug press, plate press, hat press are all here, as well as my gloves. Then up here I just got Marshall and Pusheen hanging out together. So I've got a whiteboard, which you may recognise that it has exactly the same to-do list on it than it did in my last studio. The reason for that is because I can't get the pen off it. I've just left it on for way too long. They won't rub off anymore, so I need to get something strong to get it off. So that's not in use at the moment. And maybe I'll one day get to using it again, but for now, yeah, it's just like that. Then silhouette machine, and you got my heat press, and there is my sock thing. I think in future, if I was to have another studio, I think I would rather have a desk that would stick out like that, so you could access both sides of the desk. The reason for that is because I'd really like to film from this direction, but I guess it just depends on the size of the studio, the layout, and how everything fits. But that is something I'd really like to have, because it'd be really nice to be able to film from different angles and not the same ones all the time. Down here, this is my green screen. Yeah, I'm just shoving everything in every little space I can fit things in. And here is my big shelf. I do want to get another shelf for this, but it's really hard to get these shelves, and Ikea delivery is a pain, so I can only get it next time I go to an Ikea, and God knows when that will be. So for now, we are just stuck with having this many shelves. On the top, the pink bag has some old children's books I designed for my uni course. This folder here has my prints in it, which are ready to be sold to customers. They're on backing cards, cellophane bags, everything like that. They're ready to be sent out. This box here has just A3 prints that I only take with me to markets, so I'm not going to use that for a long time. Then this shelf here, which is kind of hidden by my poly flag, that's all my sublimation bits and pieces in there, so all that's kept in there. And I've also got my ink for my sublimation printer down there behind my Life is Strange figures. These tote bags I've got here because I need tote bags to take my orders to the post office with me, so they just sit there right next to the door, ready for me to grab and take with me. Then we've got my two other printers, my sublimation printer and my print printer with all my sublimation bits on top of it. Then here we have my big box of enamel mugs, my washi tapes, which I do need to find a better way of storing, but for now they're just there. So this box, it does kind of annoy me, and I might get rid of the stuff that's in there. There are currently Christmas wreaths in there. They take up a lot of room. It's a big box, and it's filled with stuff that I'm not sure when I'll be able to sell next, because the Christmas wreaths, I'm not sure when I'll next do a Christmas event, so it is kind of taking up unnecessary amount of room. But yeah, it's just sitting there for the moment. Down here, this box has all my phone case sublimation blanks in it. Then I've got these little bags of my badges, and these have my acrylic key rings in them. This box has thank you cards, and this has some postcard prints. Got my lino cutter set there, some enamel cap pins there, and then in these boxes, these were boxes that I organised to take to markets with me, but obviously that didn't happen, so they're kind of still organised as if I'm going to a market. But I've got postcards, prints, enamel pins, key rings, all kind of things in there. But I regularly take stuff from here because some things I've only got one of everything, so I just keep everything in here for easy access. And I do go in a lot because when I sell something, you know, I have to take it out of there, so I am gonna have to go through this and reorganize it again when I do my next market. For now, this keeps everything stored and safe. Down here I've just got more prints. But yeah, that's the entirety of this studio. As you can see, I do have my softbox here and one here as well, just because, you know, you want good lighting in my YouTube videos. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed the tour. I like having a proper studio space, and I'm not sure what I'd do if I didn't have that. But I am really lucky to have this space because my parents did have to give up the spare room for me to use, and it's been really good for me so far. And yeah, I like how much floor space I've got, because my other room, I don't know why, but it felt like I had less room in it than this space. I think this room is slightly bigger, even though I have lost some of the space for the wardrobes, but it's been so much easier to move around it than my last place was. It's just kind of surprising me because I purposely picked furniture to fit in that space. In this space, I've just had to squeeze in the furniture from my old place into this space, so it's not perfectly tailored or anything to this room, but I think it works really well and it's been a good place for me. So I am just gonna end this video here. I've just been talking a lot for this outro. So if you did like this video, please give it a massive thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be the first to be notified for when I next upload, which at the moment is weekly on Sunday. Don't forget to check out my shop, which is linked down below in the description, along with all my other social medias. And thank you again. I will see you next week. Bye.